My name is Myra Summers. I was 41 years old when my sister tried to take back the son she gave me 19 years ago. If that sentence stopped you, stay with me. Because what happened at my son's graduation is something I still can't fully believe. My sister Vanessa is 6 years younger than me. She was the pretty one, the protected one. I was the reliable one, the one who handled things. That was just how our family worked. When Vanessa was 16, she got pregnant. Her boyfriend stopped returning her calls. My parents panicked. And at 2 in the morning, my mother called me. I drove 40 minutes home in the dark. My mother slid an ultrasound across the kitchen table. 4 months along. Then she went to the closet and came back with a small yellow baby blanket. She handed it to me and said, "You have to help. She's your sister." The message was clear. If I didn't take the baby, he'd go to strangers by Friday. I asked Vanessa what she wanted. She looked at the floor and whispered, "I just want to go away."
2 weeks later, I said yes.
I withdrew from my master's program the next morning. Dylan was born on July 14th, 6 pounds, 9 ounces. A full head of dark hair. When the nurse asked who was taking him home, nobody moved. I stepped forward. I took him. 3 days later, I carried him into my one-bedroom apartment. A borrowed crib, dollar store diapers, and that yellow blanket. I wrapped him in it that first night. The same blanket that had wrapped me 22 years before. The first year nearly broke me. Dylan had colic. He cried for 4 hours every night. I was working as a teaching assistant during the day and surviving on 4 hours of sleep. When I called my mother one night in tears and said I needed help, she said, "You chose this, Myra. Figure it out." Then she hung up. Vanessa moved to Boston for college that August. Tuition paid by our parents' savings. The same savings they said couldn't cover Dylan's pediatrician bills. I filed for legal guardianship. Vanessa signed the relinquishment forms by fax during rush week. The years passed. Dylan walked at 1. Said "ma" as his first word. Read full sentences by 4. I completed my master's degree at night while working full-time, graduating when Dylan was 8. No one from my family came. One friend, Claire, sat in the 3rd row and cheered loud enough for 10 people. When Dylan was 8, he came to me while I was washing dishes and asked why he didn't have a mom and dad like other kids. I turned off the water, sat down, and told him the truth as gently as I could. He studied my face the way only an 8-year-old can. Then he said, "I know. I just wanted to call you Mom instead of Aunt Myra. Is that okay?" I had not cried in years. Not when my mother refused to help. Not when Vanessa called about a car she'd left behind instead of asking about her son. But that broke me. He got up, walked around the table, and hugged me. Small arms, tight grip. "It's okay, Mom," he said.
First time.
When Dylan was 13, I told him the full story. Everything. The phone call, the ultimatum, the fax. I didn't editorialize. I just told him what happened in order. He went to his room for 2 days. On the 3rd morning, he sat down at breakfast and said, "I'm not angry at her. I'm just sad for her. She missed everything." Then he went to school. If you've ever been the person everyone leans on but nobody thanks, you already know what this story feels like. Keep listening. Dylan's junior year, he showed me a family group chat. Someone had accidentally added him. 2 years of messages. My mother writing, "When Vanessa is ready, she'll take Dylan back. Myra is just keeping him for now." Vanessa replying, "Give me a couple more years." An uncle writing, "Myra should be grateful she got to have a kid at all." I read every message twice. My hands were steady because they had to be. Dylan was standing by the window watching me. "Why didn't you show me this sooner?" I asked. "Because I didn't want you to lose them," he said. "Even though they don't deserve you." 17 years old. Standing in my kitchen. Protecting me from my own family. I didn't call anyone. I didn't confront anyone. I went to my bedroom, opened the fireproof safe under my bed, and checked every document. Guardianship papers.
Signed.
Notarized.
Filed.
My name on every line. Then I went back and made dinner. 6 weeks before graduation, my mother called. Vanessa had met someone. His name was Harrison. He wanted a family. A real family. And he thought Vanessa was brave for the difficult choice she'd made. "This is Vanessa's chance," my mother said. "Not Dylan's chance. Not a chance for healing. Vanessa's chance." Then Vanessa messaged Dylan on Instagram. "Hey, handsome. I'm your bio mom. I've thought about you every single day." 3 heart emojis. Dylan read it, thought for 2 full minutes, and typed back a short, polite reply.
Cool.
Surface level. No hearts. She responded immediately. "Can't wait to see you at graduation. I'm bringing someone special." Dylan locked his phone, placed it face down on the table. The school made it official 2 weeks later. Dylan Summers. Valedictorian. Class of 2026. Highest GPA in a class of 312 students. That evening I told him. He smiled his quiet, contained smile and said, "I already started writing the speech." "Can I read it?" I asked. "You'll hear it at the ceremony." Graduation morning. I woke at 5:30, made coffee, sat at the kitchen table listening to the house breathe. Dylan's cap and gown hung on the dining chair, navy blue, gold tassel. I had pressed them with a damp cloth the night before, the way my mother taught me when I was 10. Dylan came downstairs showered and dressed. We ate eggs and toast in comfortable silence. The morning light hit the salt shaker and threw a small rainbow across the table. Before we left, I noticed something in his hand.
Small.
Yellow. Folded. The baby blanket. He was tucking it into the inside pocket of his vest. He caught me watching. "For good luck," he said. Then he smiled. The gymnasium held 400 people. Every seat was taken. Then the double doors opened and Vanessa walked in like she was entering a gala. Emerald green dress. Auburn waves. Heels that clicked on the hardwood. Harrison beside her in a gray suit, silver watch, the easy confidence of a man used to being in charge. Behind them, my mother Rita, holding a grocery store cake on a paper doily. White frosting. Pink lettering. "Congratulations from your real mom." 200 people in that room. And my mother was walking down the center aisle with a cake claiming my son belonged to someone else. I didn't move. Claire reached over and took my hand. Before the ceremony, Vanessa found Dylan in the staging line and hugged him. A full, theatrical embrace had tilted, both arms wrapped around him. Dylan stood rigid. His arms stayed at his sides. Then she walked over to me, leaned in close, and said quietly enough that it could be heard by the rows around us, "Myra, thank you so much for taking care of my son all these years. You've been an incredible babysitter. But I'm here now. I'll take it from here." 19 years. 4,000 school lunches. 300 parent-teacher conferences. 11,000 bedtime stories. Christmas mornings. 19 birthday cakes I bake myself because bakery cakes cost $40 and that was a week of groceries. Babysitter. I did not respond. Not because I had nothing to say. I had 19 years of things to say. I didn't respond because I saw Dylan watching from the staging area, standing very still, eyes locked on mine. And in those eyes I read a message as clearly as if he'd spoken it aloud. "Wait for me." So I waited. The ceremony moved through 263 graduates in alphabetical order. When the superintendent finished his speech full of sports metaphors, it was time for the valedictorian address. Summers Dylan. He walked across the stage.
Tall. Steady.
Cap perfectly straight. He shook the superintendent's hand, received his diploma, and looked down at me in the 3rd row.
He winked.
Then he walked to the podium. He started with the expected. Cafeteria mystery meat. That substitute who showed movies for 6 weeks straight. The crowd laughed. Vanessa laughed loudest. Then Dylan paused. He looked down at his prepared speech, folded it carefully, set it on the podium, and began speaking without notes. "I've been planning this speech for 6 weeks," he said. "But I realized this morning that the most important thing I want to say isn't on any of those pages." The gymnasium went quiet. The person I want to thank most today is not a teacher, not a coach, not a friend. It's a woman who was 22 years old when she was handed a newborn baby and told, "This is your responsibility now." Vanessa straightened. Her phone was still recording. She thought this was her moment, She had no idea what was coming. She had just been accepted into a master's program with a full scholarship, and she gave it up. The next morning, without hesitation, she moved into a one-bedroom apartment and figured it out. 4 hours of sleep a night, teaching assistant salary, dollar store diapers. She wrapped my Christmas presents in newspaper because she couldn't afford wrapping paper. Someone in the back sniffled. She went back to school when I was 5. Night classes for years. She graduated with her master's degree and nobody from her family came. One friend sat in the 3rd row and cheered loud enough for 10 people. Claire squeezed my hand so hard I lost feeling in my fingers. She helped me with homework every night for 13 years. She taught me to cook, to iron a shirt, to shake someone's hand and look them in the eye. She came to every parent-teacher conference, every school play, every awards assembly. She never missed one. Vanessa was no longer smiling.
Dylan looked directly at me.
3rd row, left side. She is not the woman who gave birth to me, but she is the woman who chose me every single day for 19 years. Without asking for anything in return, without complaining, without quitting.
He paused.
Her name is Myra Summers. She is my mother. The gymnasium erupted. 200 people on their feet, clapping, some crying. Claire was openly weeping beside me. The orchestra teacher in the corner pressed a program to her face. I sat in my plastic chair with tears running down my face and my hands shaking in my lap. Vanessa sat 2 rows ahead. She had stopped clapping. Her phone was in her lap, still recording the ceiling. Harrison was looking at her, then at me, then back at Dylan. His expression had changed. Rita sat at the end of the row with a cake on her lap. Congratulations from your real mom. Pink letters facing outward. Except now the room knew exactly who the real mom was. Dylan looked at me from the podium and mouthed 2 words no one else could see.
Thank you.
After the ceremony, families spilled onto the grass. And Vanessa found me. She came fast, heels sinking into the lawn. What was that? What did you tell him to say? I didn't tell him anything. Dylan appeared behind her, still in his cap and gown. Nobody coached me, he said quietly. I wrote that speech myself. Baby, I'm your mother. I carried you for 9 months. And then you signed a piece of paper and faxed it from a sorority house, Dylan said. During rush week. Vanessa's mouth opened.
Closed.
Opened again. Grandma told me you had to go because you had school, Dylan continued. And you did go. For 19 years. To school, to a career, to 2 marriages, to Chicago. That's fine. But you don't get to walk in with a cake that says real mom and pretend those 19 years didn't happen. He looked at my mother, standing 10 feet away with the cake still in her hands. And Grandma, you said today was Vanessa's chance. But this is my graduation, not her audition. Harrison had been silent through all of it. Now he looked at Vanessa directly. You told me you were forced to give him up. That's the word you used. Forced. I was 16. It was complicated. Did you sign the papers voluntarily? The people around them had stopped pretending not to listen. Vanessa looked at my mother for rescue. Harrison moved his arm away. He looked at me for the first time. Really looked. You raised him from birth? Yes. Alone? Yes. He turned back to Vanessa. His jaw was set. The warmth was gone. He straightened his jacket, adjusted his watch, and walked across the grass to the parking lot. His car pulled out past the school sign and down the road toward the highway. Vanessa stood alone in the middle of the lawn in her emerald dress, watching the only man who had ever made her want to be a mother drive away. The cake sat on the grass where Rita had set it down. Nobody touched it. Then something shifted in Rita's face. She was looking at Dylan. Her eyes went wet. Her lip trembled. For a few seconds, maybe 5, I saw something I had never seen there before. Regret. I thought, this is the moment. This is where she says she was wrong.
Myra, she said.
If you hadn't poisoned him against his own mother, none of this would have happened. And just like that, the moment was gone. Dylan looked at her. Patient. Not angry. Just patient. Grandma, no one poisoned me. I'm 19 years old. I have eyes, I have ears, and I have 19 years of memories. Do you know how many of those memories include you? 7 Thanksgivings, 3 Christmases, 1 birthday card. That's it. He paused. Do you know how many include Mom? He looked at me. All of them. Every single one. Because she was there. Rita had no answer. There's no answer for that. Dylan turned to Vanessa. She was standing with her arms wrapped around herself, mascara streaked, looking younger than I'd seen her look in years. I'm not trying to hurt you, he said. If you want to be in my life, you can be. I'd like that. But you have to start from now. Not from a cake. Not from an Instagram post that says, my son, my pride, when you don't know my GPA, my best friend's name, or what I'm allergic to. Vanessa blinked. What are you allergic to? Tree nuts. Since I was 4. Mom figured it out when I broke out in hives at a birthday party. She drove me to the ER doing 60 in a 35 zone and sat in the waiting room for 4 hours holding a juice box and praying. He reached into his vest pocket and pulled out something small and yellow and faded. The blanket. He unfolded it once, held it for a moment, then walked to me and placed it in my hands. This is yours, Mom, he said. It always was. I held that blanket, thin as tissue, soft as memory, frayed at every edge. It smelled like cedar and baby shampoo and 19 years of being someone's whole world. I could not speak.
My son had said everything.
Claire put her arm around my shoulders. The parents nearby were silent. Even the kid with the tuba had stopped packing up his instrument to watch. Rita and Gerald walked to the parking lot without a word. Gerald following, as he always had. Neither of them looked back. The cake sat on the grass near the oak tree, untouched, slowly sinking into the soft ground. And I stood there under the afternoon sun, holding a yellow blanket and my son's hand, surrounded by 200 strangers who now knew exactly who I was. If you've ever loved someone quietly, completely, without recognition, without applause, this story is for you. You are not invisible. The people who matter will see you. They always do. If this story stayed with you, leave a comment and tell me where you're watching from. And if you know someone who deserves to hear this, share it with them. They might need it today.